I'm in year 7.
Year 7. Okay. So what made you get involved then?
Just good question. Just caring for my community, I think.
Okay.
And my first term in Ward 2, nobody else ran. So I was just acclaimed. So if there's two people that want to run for the same position, you have to. That's when we have an election. But if there is no one else to run against you, you get acclaimed. And so the first term I was acclaimed, and to just get involved, to help along, right?
Yeah.
To do something positive, to be a positive influence in the community,
Yeah.
and yeah, to help.
And so, before we started this podcast, you asked me, why a podcast? Why am I doing a podcast? And I shared some things with you. And so one of my reasonings that I gave you for starting the podcast was because it was a way to it helped me get involved with the local community, because that's what it's called, right? Local Life Ontario. So in starting very local right here where we live, because I find for myself, I have to find reasons to force myself to get to know something, right? If I want to learn something, I have to force myself to get involved in something of that thing, right? And
Yeah.
so if I want to get involved in the community, well, for me then now, this is kind of my starting point, because I don't even know how the politics here in Canada work anymore after being gone so long and coming back in and trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So now the podcast, I force myself to talk with people like you, or like James Lunny last week, or other people that I have planned, not just about politics, but about everything. And it forces me to talk with them. And then I understand what's happening in the community, right? When I don't force myself, then I don't.
Yeah.
I have to put myself in a position where I'm actually involving myself. And so maybe kind of like that for you.
It takes energy, it takes willpower, it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes money,
Yeah.
right? And so, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And Henry, maybe your next step is to run for local council.
Well, you never know. Like, the first thing though, that I need to understand is exactly how things work, right?
Yeah.
And like I, last in the last episode that I had with James, I was saying it's hard to involve yourself, or to know, how to involve yourself when you don't know how things work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how things work at all, like even, when our meetings happening, like you just shared, who can come?
Yeah.
Is there room? Where are the meetings?
Yeah.
And like you say, that people can actually share there without me knowing any of those details. Well, I don't really know how to involve myself then in any of those kinds of things, because I have no idea. I'm clueless, right? And so that's kind of the first step. You got to figure out kind of what's happening in the background, even in where and with who.
Yeah.
So,
Well, 7 years ago, I think times were a little different. I think
mm,
COVID has changed a lot
yeah,
as to how people can get involved and all that kind of good stuff, right? I
mm,
was I was cold turkey. I really hadn't come to many meetings, maybe 2 meetings, and I did go meet with the mayor at the time, and with
mhm,
to try to get a little bit of what am I getting myself into, but
yeah,
very, very, I would call it cold turkey, just
hmm,
head first and
jump
go
in.
right, and felt completely unqualified
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah,
So, and since then I've learned a lot,
mm,
and so yeah, we just, I'm not a numbers guy, but we just had our budget meeting, and after 7 years, I understand a lot more of it.
yeah,
I can read them better. I know how they're put together, and I know
hmm,
who puts them together, right? So you can speak to them a lot better.
yeah,
Whereas some people are very gifted in knowing math and numbers, and so
yeah,
we need all types. So
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much, pretty much, if you have a heartbeat, Henry, you qualify to sit on
Let me
council.
see.
Still there,
Still beating.
still
Yeah.
there.
I guess I qualify. Here we go. Maybe somebody listening qualifies. Yeah, it's you.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
know,
yeah.
it's you. But yeah, just checking to make sure I didn't turn it off in my head.